Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It has been a very long time for me. I think it's been a month since I was last able to stream. So I was gone on some work stuff, had family in town, and then, for those people unaware, I am over on the east side of Washington State and around Spokane, and we had some massive wildfires come ripping through. And unfortunately, my house was in one of the evacuation zones, so that put a little damper on streaming as well. So it has been a chaotic month or so, but it feels good to be back, good to be streaming again. I am very excited to be able to do this. So tonight, figured I'm going to dive back into the material design stuff. It's been a while. There's been some stuff that's been opened. I saw some of the other maintainers were actually even just getting stuff reviewed and merged, which was great. I love it. So we're going to just jump right in and keep going. I will make one comment. So my new job, I'm still doing .NET stuff, but they have me working on a Mac, which is fine. However, it has messed up my fingers and my muscle memory. I like the whole copy and paste thing. I'm about ready to rebind some keys just so I don't have to relearn muscle memory. But man, I'm trying to have my fingers learn native keybinds in some cases, and man, it is messing me up. It is absolutely messing me up. So, okay, so here is where we land. And I think I was going to start here because this is one that we did a while back that I think the test failed even during the stream. And then I never circled back to actually look at which test failed or fixing it or any of that jazz. So we're going to just get it squared away. Also, my wife got me some pumpkin spice coffee creamer, and it goes great in black tea. Mwah, love it. Don't worry. I do also have Mountain Dew sitting next to me as well. I know that was a chief concern of everybody watching. Okay, so I guess let's go look and see what actually failed. Let's see if we go summary. I think we get the test breakdown. Let's see. Then we'll test exception in theme tests. That looks relevant. And one timeout exception in DialogHost test. That seems irrelevant. But given that this one was adding a theme brush, that one seems especially relevant, especially since, let's see. Okay, so let's start with this. Where is my trusty... I need my trusty Kraken. I need the Kraken. Okay, and let's go here, and I'm going to get my... I got to figure out... I don't have a place... Like, I have a cup holder, but this cup has a handle, so it doesn't go in my cup holder. And the place where I put it is also my scene switcher. I'm going to put it over here and just try not to hit it with my mouse. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see here. This one here. Let's see. Check out branch. Great. I would also like to pull master. I got to clean up all my local branches. I got a lot of them. Let's get master up to date. So we're going to pull that first of all. And then we are going to click, drag, go up until we find master. And just rebase this sucker. Bippity boppity booyah. Okay. And then I don't remember what I have bound here. So let me check one thing. So on the external tools, I want this path. Browse. I want to see, is that is insiders. I don't want insiders because they fixed the issues with Canary, so I would like to use Canary. Let's see, Common 7, IDE, and I think it's just dev env here. There we go. Okay. all this, so all I have to do is Control-Shift-E, and then it launches, and we are off to the races. And that is how we go. Also, I got new lighting, so that's exciting. Hopefully it, I don't know, it feels brighter in my face, for what it's worth. Also, yes, my hair is a mess. I was outside doing a bunch of lawn work for a while, and kind of came rushing in, took a rush shower. So I'm clean now. I'm just kind of a disheveled mess. You know, you get that. That's bonus. Okay. Let's go here. And I kind of have a suspicion that so the fact that this test here failed kind of indicates to me that I either didn't run my CLI tool or I ran it incorrectly or something. So we're going to start here rather than the demo app. Let's see. Resource generation. That's the guy that I want. Okay. Let's see. Generate brushes, and then I think generate theming, and we'll just confirm whether there's a delta. Because if there is, that will probably be it. And I have to look at what the... Oh, there's a new Visual Studio. Dang it, 3 hours ago. I was like, I just updated. Okay, so that one's done. And then let's generate theming. Okay, I don't think... Because that one should just be... Trying to, I don't know which of these might be the kicker, so I just run them all. Oh, shows a delta. Interesting that it's getting rid of that closing line. I don't like that. Let's see, so it reordered some stuff. That's fine. These missing calls are more likely the result of my... Yeah, and these ones here are probably what are actually breaking me. So we are going to go up here, and we're going to drop those changes, because those are just white space changes. So we'll put those in as the fix, because I kind of suspect that will fix that problem. And then I'm curious... Timeout exception. Oh, interesting. With combo box, can't select item. Let's just go run that test really quick. Because I'm sort of curious if I broke something here, or if it's just one of the timing issues. Test went green, so if it does fail, it might just be a timing issue, or maybe something we addressed in a rebase. Been long enough, who knows? And then let's just run these real quick. Just while we're here. Sorry, my fingers are not working. They are in Mac mode, and I don't like that. I need to figure out how to have that not be the case. Okay. And then run test. Great. Looks good. Commit, push, and that should hopefully fix that PR. We'll let it go. That should work. We're off to the races. Okay. One down. Well, hopefully. I want to circle back to this one. And this one was interesting to me. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm surprised this doesn't work out of the box, actually. Triple clicking in a text box to select all the text is a common action on a Windows application. I agree with that. I'm just surprised. I'm intentionally running this not from the branch because I'm surprised that's not the default. I would have told you it works that way already. Field. All right, so some text, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. I'm surprised. I would have thought that that was the default behavior. Clearly not. I'm somewhat tempted to spin a WPF app just to see. Did we break something? Let's look at the change. Let's look at the change. Okay, so demo app field, setting it to true. Man, I'd almost default it all the way to on. Let's see here. So fix. Let's see, that's just reordering of members. That's fine. Oh, I was gonna look and see, did I install XAML styler? I did not. So because this is a different Visual Studio instance, I have to install XAML styler separately. Okay, so this is just reordering. That's fine. Cleaning up white space mistakes. That's also fine. Okay, that's good. So let's see. What does the behavior do? Select all on triple click change. Looks for text box base. I think there's actually a dirty trick you can do here. I can't remember whether it's dependency properties or attached properties, but I think you can get away with actually registering and changing the type here to text box base, but we'll check it. That way you don't complete. Maybe I'm wrong there, but we'll double check. So preview left mouse button down. So we're doing this on the tunneling event. On true. Select all, handle true. I mean, that's a pretty simple change. I'm still very surprised this isn't the default. Okay, we're going to try this. Let's see, mkdir WPF sample, cd WPF. See, I typed web, not WPF. That's how much I've been messed up. It's not fair. Let's see, .NET new, use my WPF thingy. What? Well, changes to existing files. What? Well, look at that. There's already one in here. Interesting. Okay, we can probably just use this. Oh, wait a minute. I actually want one without my template because I want it without the material design. So let's do .NET new. It's just WPF. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we are going to fire this guy up. It's going to be a very, very simple app. I'm just surprised with how WPF gets its controls that wouldn't be the default. Part of me is wondering if we broke something in the text box. Let's see, width 300. Let's do vertical alignment center. Horizontal alignment center. Great, looks good. Send it. Okay. It is not the default behavior. Interesting. Okay. I would have told you it was. I would have told you it was. I would have been wrong. Okay. Get rid of it. Don't care. Sample app. Okay. So. Ding, ding, ding. I think you can actually do this even easier. I think I've got an overload that actually, like, left click is a helper method. I think you can just send it in one shot rather than 3 calls, because this is 3 RPC calls, and I think you can do it in one. We'll go look at that. Let's see. Text box gets selected text. Does not select all text. So the only thing I don't like about this is this left click by here by itself is it's clicking center on the control, and the only reason it's selecting the word select is because of the default sizes of things, which I feel like I want to tighten this up so that different DPIs and whatnot won't change that. So we might, I might actually set it up to go from the left. That way it grabs some rather than arbitrarily grabbing one on the middle. Let's see, selects all text. That looks fine. I mean, that looks like exactly what I would expect. Okay, let's check this one out. This one looks like something we can. Let's see. Add is remote. Check out. It's coming from a master, a branch named master. A little weird. That's okay. Okay, so I want to try a couple things real quick before we get too carried away. So most of what was done here looks perfect. But what I'd like to do is text field assist. And then, I assume it's down near the bottom. I didn't look at the line number, but I can only assume it was... Oh, what was the line number it was added to? What line? 156. Okay. Okay. So I want to try something because I think you can do this. I don't know, but something in the back of my mind, and I might be getting things confused, but I think this works. Okay. Certainly compiles. Let's see here. And it works exactly as I would expect. And then I think what that means by setting it here, I think it'll actually change what it's allowed to be set on. Let's see. So if I go down and pick like dock panel, right? What are you squawking about? Interesting. So if I go up here, right, and I do material design, text field assist, It was triple click, right? Select all on triple click. Yeah, so it doesn't even show up down here. Select all on triple click. Yeah, the attached property. So for people who can't, oh, let's see if we can do this. Right. So the attached property can only be applied to the text. I like that better. I knew something in my mind was triggering on that. I don't know why we didn't do that on most of these. I guess most of these are so it's worth noting that I don't know that you should do this on all attached properties, right? So a couple cases where you might not want to do this. On some of these attached properties, we actually allow you to set them on top level objects, and then we propagate them down into things inside of a template. So in those types of situations, restricting what you can, I guess we did it right here too. Restricting what you can set it on doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because then it, like, you're trying to apply a text box one. Like, for example, if we wanted this to exist on the text box that's inside of an editable combo box, for example, and we wanted to be able to set this on the combo box and let it propagate down, that would be fine. Now, the only thing that's kind of getting me, I kind of want to turn this on by default. I kind of want it on by default. I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and put it here. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of turning it on by default. I like, is there a reason not to? I guess if somebody else has already done this, you know what? I think we should document it. And I think we should turn it on by default. Let's see, where is our, here we go. Let's see, QRST. So we're gonna go here. Come on. Don't think, just do. Select all on triple click. Yeah, triple click works on Avalone text box. And that's the thing, is I don't know. Also, welcome, Hassan. Good to see you. I am very surprised I haven't run across this on a WPF app before, because I feel like I do the triple click just intuitively on text fields to select all the text, and I get annoyed when it doesn't work. And I'm surprised I haven't been annoyed by this. I feel like I should have been annoyed by this by now. I do know on several of my apps, I typically create a behavior that is something like select all on focus, because rather than needing, because there's certain text fields that I just, like, I've pre-populated the text fields, and I want to, when as soon as I focus them, the only reason I would focus them is because I want to change something. And so I immediately just select all, because it's something that I might want to go through and switch out. But I think I might flip this on its head and say we should have it on by default, and people can turn it off if they don't want it. But I suspect more often than not, people will want it, because that's kind of the default on Windows. So here, yeah, I kind of feel like I just want it on by default. We'll document it and then turn it off if people don't want it. I think that's better. I think that's better. So real quick, before I forget to do it, I'm going to go here and I'm going to label this with release notes, because this feels immediately like something that's going to matter real soon. Okay. And so then let's go through and change up the demo app to be the inverse, because yeah, so rather than, let's see, 157. Rather than we're going to do that and turn it off. We'll do the same thing on the Material Design 3 demo. I'm just going to assume it's close to the same. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I typoed that. Okay. Goes like that, goes like that, goes like that. Then for the UI tests, what we're gonna do, let's see here, text boxes. I assume that's where this was, right? Text box tests, round line 500. Let's see here. No. Oh, yeah. Let's see. This is fine. And we're going to change this to have default select all on triple click. Selects all text. So we're going to just delete this. And then the one thing I want to do is, let's see, text box. Because left click, again, is just a shorthand. And I think we can get away with... Yeah, because we can do send click directly, I believe. Send input. Mouse input. What is the... Somewhere in here, there is a... Mouse input. Did I not expose it to myself? That seems dumb. Because I want to be able to do... Did I not expose the... Boy, I really didn't, did I? That was dumb of me. Why didn't I do that? Izzy, Merry Christmas. It has been a very long time. How you doing, buddy? I am back. I am out of the woods of the pain and suffering that was fire evacuations. I guess we can't do this in one shot. I guess we'll just leave it as is. That part sucked. It was very rude of them to interrupt what was otherwise a pleasant evening with a evacuation notice. So, and if anybody does look up the Spokane, Washington fires, like, you'll see some absolute horrific stuff. But the good news is even though I was in an evacuation zone, the fire really never threatened my property. Like I was in the back corner of the evacuation zone. So of everyone who had to evacuate, I was potentially the most confident I was safe. But there was, I think at last count, I heard something like 700 homes burned. And when we say burned, I mean burned to the ground. There was not much left. Maybe the concrete from the chimney or something, but most of it was gone. Oh wow, we were not evacuated, but the cricket club behind us went up due to fires here. Wow. It has been, I don't know what it's like where you're at, Izzy, but at least around here, it has been very, very dry. I even had a colleague from the new job up in Canada get evacuated. Like, it was, I think I got back, and then like 3 days later, a massive fire kicked off in Canada where they were at, and it was like, okay, and we're doing evacuations all over again. Same song, different verse. Okay, I do want to change, because this left click does come with a position. Position left center. Let's see, X offset 10. That way the DPI and whatnot doesn't muck with any of this. I think that just makes me feel a little better. And then this should change to some. And the test should still pass. Yeah, very dry here, except in my garage, apparently. Well, I am, one, somewhat surprised you weren't evacuated, but happy that you weren't. So it kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. Okay, so we gotta move that offset a little bit more to account for the internal padding of the text box. There we go. Yay. What? Why didn't that... What was the selected text? I watched it select the word some. Let's see here. Oh, it's stupid space. There we go. There we go. And then this one should still pass. Our council are too lazy to do evacuations. World War III could start and finish before they even lift a finger. We'll try not to make too big of a joke there, though you're setting me up very nicely. Yeah, ours, it was both delayed evacuations and an overabundance of caution. Like, they did both extremes. Like, when the fires first kicked off, they took longer than I think some people were comfortable with before they decided, oh shoot, we aren't going to be able to contain this. Let's start issuing evacuation orders. And then once they did, they issued them and then held them for a lot longer than what it seemed as reasonable. Like, and they had justification behind them. Like, the first week after the fires, the justification was, well, we have a weather forecast that strong winds might come in. Well, the strong winds never came. It was like, okay, I understand weather guys are bad at their jobs. Like, I'm a developer, which means I suck at estimating. But weathermen tend to be wrong a lot. And I don't know who's wrong more. So it was one of those, there was a lot of frustration built up from people going, why can we not go back to our houses? Like, where is the danger? And like, I understand why they were keeping people out of the burned out areas, because there was like hot patches and poisonous gas and all kinds of stuff that they were dealing with. So it's like, I get some of those. Okay. It just felt like some people that were far enough away, like myself, where I think the fire got within 4 miles of me. It was like, There's 4 miles of multiple neighborhoods that the fire would have to go through before it got to me. So I'm not that scared. Again, I was in the back corner, so it did not scare me that much. Okay. Let's add this. Go Kraken. So if for anybody who missed it, Kraken AI, they added in, like, you can use whichever models you would like. Like, they have added in a lot of stuff. But I will point out, right, like, Gemini 2.5 Flash recommended, right? Like, you'll note that's a 0.8x multiplier. If you would like to use Opus to generate your commit messages, you absolutely can. You're just going to be burning tokens at an alarmingly fast rate. I have found this to be kind of nice, though, and I've played around with using different models for different operations. The one thing, and I think I showed it last time, what was it? GitKraken, Git AI operation. Because they've put together a... Well, that's scary. That's my face. Gitbench. This guy. This is the guy. So if you're interested in figuring out, like, which model you should use for what, they, like, this is not done willy-nilly. Like, it will absolutely tell you the comparison between all of your models, the benchmarks, like, which model should you be using for which operation, right? Merge conflicts. There you go. Gemini 3.6. Conflict resolution. What's Gemini 3.6 cost me on this? Oh, do they not have full 3.6? They only have 3.6 Flash. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so you can play around with different ones if you want to. Just know that they will burn the tokens at an appropriate rate. Bit like Boris Johnson during COVID, but he was always guided by the science. Must be like the appointment letter I got from the hospital yesterday, dated August 17th. Appointment day, 26th of June, 2026. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Let's see here. What is my upstream going to be? Yeah, so I need that to not be that upstream. Let's see. So we want that upstream, and then we want to push. So it probably has access. Great. Let's go back to here. Okay. So submit review, approve. Is great. Thank you. Reason I thought this was already alt. I tweak it slightly so that it will be on by default. Anyone using the library that people opt out with the AP. Ship it. Let's see. So which model can I use to solve my issue with GStreamer and the Linux kernel? So far, I have 13 different 100% definite solutions. None of them make a difference. Sadly, there are some things where it just is really bad at it still. Let's see. And I want to put enhancement on this. This was... Let's see. Enable auto merge squash. Enable auto merge. Corvin's already gave it the thumbs up. Great. Our other one merged. We are cooking now. Okay. This is the one. Hang on. I remember. I want to go back to this one. Okay. So this one, if I recall, because I believe this was, I'm going to pop this up for ready for review. And then we're going to, because this thing already, all of the things already passed. So we're gonna try this. And I think we're gonna put this under release notes as well. And then I kind of want to look and see what is in 5.3. We've got a decent chunk of stuff in here. Maybe we should just kick the release. I mean, I heard Izzy was bored and needs to go and update all of his stuff again, so that seems reasonable, right? So we're gonna kick this off. I'm only joking, Izzy. I think I want to let this one sit for a moment and see if anything, or if anyone reports any issues with it. Let's see here. This one, we aren't confident, because this is an outside contributor, and Corbin's comment was it doesn't appear to actually fix the issue. So, and he didn't reply. So we're going to go here. Is this the same reporter? No, different reporter. Oh, that seems... Oh, yucky. See, no issue with me. The project delivered and I don't have to fix it unless the customer gives us orders to do it. Excellent. Interesting. What are the odds this is public? What are the odds this is public? 0. Dang nabbit. Seriously tempted to go and add in some extra stuff. For anybody who has been what's coming in C#, so the fun part is we used to have to wait until November to kind of figure out, ooh, what's the cool new stuff that's coming in C# this time around. We don't have to wait anymore. They just kick out preview SDKs repeatedly, and they keep dropping new ones with all this kind of stuff. So for anybody interested in it, you can go kind of play around with it now ahead of time. But if you are interested, let's see, this week I scheduled another interview call with Mads Torgensen, the lead designer on the C# team. So there will be an interview stream, I'm going to say mid-October, because I want to get it late enough to where the feature set is probably set in stone. Like, they never guarantee that any of the stuff is going to ship until it ships. But, like, November's the target, so it's like, at October, they're not likely to drop new stuff unless it's really close. They're more likely to yank something out. So, but there's some cool stuff coming. They finally got union types in. There's some cool expression type stuff. Closed hierarchies, extension indexers. Like, this entire list just made my day of cool things that I can go and abuse to do bad things with C# again. So it made me so very happy. Let's see. See, the client has an interesting process about updates and CVEs, so I'm pretty sure they will be stupid enough to think that the box is not vulnerable, even though 2 CVEs dropped in the day of delivery. Yeah, that's always fun. But yeah, so if people are interested, that is something that is forthcoming. Okay, so I think that's in there. Let's take a quick gander here. I might just start sniping some of these and killing some of these off. Let's see. As shown in the video below, the focus behavior of the dialog host seems incorrect. After clicking the dialog, pressing the escape key does not trigger the close dialog command, so the dialog remains open. Let's see. When pressing the tab key, the focus appears to move to the content inside the dialog host itself rather than staying with the dialog. As a result, the content inside the dialog host becomes focus selected. Well, let's take a look. I do like that it was tested. Yeah, so this doesn't give me a lot of things. So interesting. Okay, so this is straight up in our own demo. Excellent. Excellent. Yay. Yay, more ways to shoot ourselves in the foot. Yeah. That's about right. Okay, well, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look. I'm going to go back to mine. Set local to here, and I'm just going to remove the remote so I don't get confused, because I tend to get confused quite easily. So we're going to go there. And then let's go change this up. So step one, let's verify that after the focus change that we just did, this thing still reproduces. Based on Corvin's report, I kind of suspect the answer is going to be yes. Because, so I think it was, okay, close you. So pass view, escape. Oh, it's working. Tab, escape. Oh. Fixed by. So comment, put it here, kill the evaluation, close issue. Look at that. Easy mode. Okay. When closing a dialog using DialogHost closed, the most natural way to close the dialog, if you need to, can't start if the next line of blocks. It is, I don't understand the first way in the wiki after dialog closing animation can't start if the next line of code blocks the UI thread. And closing animation doesn't start. It feels unnatural until something is implemented that frees the UI thread. A combination of block and number. Flag the close. Feels more natural in my opinion. Wait for the close animation internally. Let's see. Let's see. 4117. Oh, so Nikolai took a run at this and then scrapped it. What did he not like? Oh, I don't like that either. Yeah, so the hard part is knowing when the thing is done. This shouldn't be hard. Why is this hard? Let's see. Because the visual state manager is what's responsible for kicking off the storyboards that do the animations themselves. The storyboards do have events on them for things like started, completed, etc. So watching the storyboard, we do actually know when the storyboard is done running, but getting a hold of said storyboard at the appropriate code is not always trivial, and so it's not easy to know. I've lamented this problem many times where I want to know when animations are done. And the hard part is it's not always easy to know when they're done, because animations could have like they could be looping, right? Like, for example, the indeterminate progress bar, it has an animation that just loops over and over and over, right? So it never is actually done when it reaches the indeterminate state, because the indeterminate state is infinite. It loops forever. So there's not always a completed event, but for most of our animations, they are. Why can we not get a hold of that? Let's go spelunking real quick. Like, why can we not get a hold of this sucker and do something about it? This feels like something that should be fixable. I'm just gonna look. When has completed. Like, I am not the first one. Current state changed. This claims it is on the visual state groups. This feels like an interesting idea. Let's look. Do those APIs exist? Visual state group. What do you have on you for events? Look at that. Occurs after a control transitions to a different state. This feels like something, given that we know something about the transitions, that we could expose something for this. Let's go look at the DialogHost template. Let's just, because the thing with the DialogHost in particular is this isn't us reskinning somebody else's control. Like, this is our control. It is 100% in our code base. Like, we own the whole thing, right? So there's your states. Like, there's your visual state group, pop-up states. Like, we know when this thing happens. And then the one below it should be the embedded one. And it also has pop-up states. And they're all well named and known. I am strongly tempted to add something here. Let's go back. What is the original poster asking for? And the closing animation has finished. So they want to do a DialogHost show. And they want show to wait to complete until it's all the way done. So that would mean, right? So it's these are the static calls that exist on here. All right, so they're doing some sort of show. There's an opening and a closing event handler. There's a closed event handler. So we already have something of this handled. Let's see. Async show opened event handler. Find all references. And it's just here. So this call's closed. Closed callback. Async closed event handler. Invokes it. But doesn't actually wait until it's all the way done. Session not is ended. I wonder why do we invoke the closed event handler before session close? In fact, why does the DialogHost session not maintain this information? Because that's the whole point of the session, is it is effectively designed to hold on to the state of this sucker. Because this is what we give back. Let's see. Don't need the dual spaces in there. But it seems like we can do something about this. Time to change it and see what test break. Well, see, that's the nice part, is I think that's legitimately what I'm thinking about doing here. Is I think the real question is, do I change attach dialog? Why is this one being nulled out and the other ones aren't? Open dialog handler, get dialog closed, pulls the attached event, attaches it up. There's just some weird timing in all of this. And then apparently we left that sitting there at one point. I was probably past Kevin. He's an idiot. See, it really wants me to throw it with a param name, but I think it's going to squawk even more if I do that. Well, methods parameter name. Yeah, that just, it doesn't work. Maybe this is the wrong exception type, but regardless, not my monkeys, not my rodeo, at least not right this second. I think I like the idea of trying to grab a hold of this thing, because we have this public const strings visual state group name, right? We have this thing. We're just going to put this in here. Right, so we're going to put that there. We're going to go to our template, and we're going to go here, and we're going to do x static, and we should be able to do DialogHost, right? And then we should be able to do that to reference, just to make sure we've got that thing in the same place, and that should now just work. We should do this on the regular one too. So now we will have a fixed state group key that's going to stay in sync. I don't know why I didn't do this with the open state name as well. Is there a reason I didn't do this? Probably not. Probably an oversight. All right, so we're going to do that. That's one visual transition. Another visual transition. Thank you, Dunce Pilot. You want to do that one too? Thanks. Let's see. How about this one? You feel like doing it for me? Thanks. How about this one? You want to do that one too? Good. Good boy. Good boy. You're such a good little Dunce Pilot. Okay. Boom. Change those out. Change those out. You. And you. Okay. Great. So now we've got all of those things together. And I want to look real quick. So what was the suggestion here of how they were getting a hold of it? Visual state groups. Where does this thing live? On the dialog, on the template root. I can't move this up, can I? I don't think I can. Yeah. It needs to be at the root of the dialog host. Let's go to the onApply template. Because this is where we would... I think we should be able to get it here, right? I don't... I should be able to do get visual state groups here. And pass this. And get... I think that gives me what I expect. Let's just confirm that. What's your problem? Let's see. Markup extensions are not allowed for UID or name properties. How about that? That's probably why I didn't do it. Because it doesn't compile. That's a pretty good, compelling reason. Can we get away with just transitioning off of the fixed one and onto the interpreted one? I think I can. I think I can. We'll know in a minute. I have one basic VS Code question. Hit me, Hessen. I've actually been using VS Code quite a bit. Only because being forced to work on a Mac, there are only two reasonable options for working with C#. That is Writer and VS Code. I've been using both. Let's see. In VS Code with the C# dev kit installed, right-clicking a folder and selecting New File just creates a plain blank file. Is there a way to open a template menu for a class that automatically creates the C# file in the selected folder? Using the Avalonia VS Code extension and can't figure out. Creates files in the root directory, so I have to manually move them to the target folder and adjust the namespace every time. That is a good question. You can... So the other workaround is you do it via terminal and you .NET new and execute the template that way. Just the namespace. Give me 1 second and then we'll go look. So the answer is I don't think so, but I'm not confident enough in that answer to say for certain. DialogHost. Let me grab this. Let's see. So it might be obnoxious. Oh. There, shut up. I just want to see it work for a second. Just want to confirm that I can get these. State groups, pop-up states. Ha ha ha. Got them. And then this should have all of my states. Yes, it does. Open and closed. And then, okay, transitions. Okay, so I think we have access to this. Okay, as for your question, let's see. Let's come over here and because let's see here. Which one were you saying? New file. Because the new file one is just shelling out to the .NET new templating one. So like this list here. And if I do that, but then that's going to give you exactly the same behavior that you were describing where it's at the root and then you have to go and move it down. It feels like I remember seeing somewhere in the flow of being able to do this. There's something in the back of my mind saying that there's a way to do it, and I don't recall what it is. I don't think it was the right click. Maybe it was. Maybe what I remember seeing is people just doing this and going foo.cs and generating it, but that obviously doesn't give you anything like what you're going for. Second, I'm gonna take a note down, Hessen, and I'll take a look because there are people who are smarter than me. And I wonder if there is a way of doing this. Actually, let me just shoot a message to one of them right now. Create a We'll send that off and see what comes. Let's see. If only there was a way I could get $1,000 of Copilot tokens at less than 150. Nick Energy is being held up because my tokens are running out too quickly. At this rate, I have about 9 months before the design is complete before I can make the boards. I may have to start doing the work myself. That is true. That is absolutely true. Sadly, I do not have a magical get tokens button. Let's see. Yeah, that one. There we go, and popped and go. We are off to the race. I will say, at first I didn't like it, but I have the new Kraken design of having this kind of indent thing. It's growing on me. I'm kind of liking it versus it. Like at first I didn't like it because I like my vertical stacks. I like pretty stacks, but it is slowly growing on me. We'll see. I did not like it at first. It felt weird. It felt wrong. It didn't look the way I wanted it to. Okay, let's go back here. So if we can get our state groups, so let's here. Because what I would really like to be able to do, state group sub 0, right? Wait, state groups. What is this? Of course it's not typed. Of course it's not typed. When did that change? Mine is still a stack. Oh, this guy here, I think it was in one of the most recent versions. And there's a config for it. So, where is it? Because I have this habit of new feature must turn on all of the new features. And is it here? No. I thought it was in here. More tabs. Now I'm going to be, let's see, external tools, commit signing, editor. Not an experimental, though frankly it feels like this has been around long enough that this is not really experimental anymore. Yeah, it's the pin left. Graph column header. Oh, it's okay, so it's not there, it's actually here. Unpinned from left. There. So the idea being that when you pin a branch, it always is your leftmost branch and doesn't shift around on you. Because what I found is it's very obnoxious, especially if you're bouncing between a lot of feature branches and work trees and otherwise. Like your master or your main branch can end up being one of these lines over here rather than always being the one here. And I found that I really like always having my target branch, whether that's like a develop, a main, a master, whatever you got, right? Whatever my target branch is, always having it kind of pinned to the left so that everything stays there. And then work in progress then kind of pivots out and goes right. So it's if you don't mind the left and right thing, it's not a big deal. I just found that it's nice organizationally in my head because I always I love the way Kraken lays out the history for Git because it matches the mental model that I have, right? And so time flows upwards because obviously time goes up, and then my work pulls to the right. Like everyone, when they're teaching like Git or otherwise, they always draw graphs vertically or they draw them on their side, and either the thing that you're going back to, your base branch, is either the horizontal line at the top or it's the vertical line on the left. And so here it lets me have my vertical line on the left and keep it there regardless of what branch I switch to or where I might be going. It's pinned to the side. So yeah, that's what that one is. So again, I didn't like it at first, but it kind of is nice. Like it's starting to feel better. Let's see. No literal. Yeah. Just shut up. We are just doing this. Let's see. I think the way to do is right click on the folder and there's a new C# and you can select what you need from there. Am I missing it? Like if I go here. Rollers, when you say new C#, do you have something in your right-click menu that actually lets you execute that command? And I'm actually just going to go here. Let's see. Restart extensions. So I have the dev kit here. Because I don't have the only new I have is file and folder, and these just give you kind of blank ones rather than being able to walk through the template, which for most stuff, it's not that big of a deal not using the template. But I know like Avalonia, some of their templates actually, like there's some stuff there that I don't want to have to retype every time. And I'm just, there might be a way to get that in there. So if you have something different in your context menu than what you see here, let me know, because that would be very interesting to me. And I have an update, and I cannot resist installing updates. Okay, so if I grab the state group here, because ultimately what I want to know, I might have another extension that gives me the option. If you don't mind, do you want to check your extensions list of what you have installed and see if there's anything interesting? Because I like mine is fairly basic, right? There's some stuff for view, some stuff for formatting, the front end code that I do, some Terraform stuff, some GitHub Actions, some ESLint, spell checker, dev containers, and then C#.net. Like I've only got 12. Good morning, JC. Welcome in. It is good to see you. Especially after being gone for a month. I apologize. The good news is I am done being gone. Cannot locate resource. Broke something horribly bad. See, I would like a way to collapse branches so it's only one dot between start, end, and merge point. A bit like a squash, but out with removing all the commits. Oh, you're talking about these little dots here? So that it can be... My PR merged. Yes. I assume you're talking about one of these ones up here. We've been closing stuff out. Because I assume that the triple left click was you, right? I actually, so I did go through and push a change to the branch. Yeah. I took it a step further than you did, because like when I first pulled this up, if you go and watch the recording of the stream, I was convinced that triple click actually worked on a default WPF application, and I was worried that the material design library broke something. So I spun a blank WPF app and confirmed, no, it just doesn't work. So rather than making it an opt-in, I made it an opt-out, and so it'll be on by default. So everybody who revs to the 5.3.3 release will just get it on, and if they don't like it, they can turn it off. But I kind of suspect there's going to be very few people that opt out. Like, that's one of the things about this library is at times it would be really nice to be able to get some feedback about like which features people are using and which ones are completely dead. Because right now the way I find that out is I break something and then I wait for the bug reports to come in. And if the bug reports don't show up for 6 months to a year, I know it's not a heavily used feature. But yeah, so great change, by the way. I just felt like I wanted it to go one step further and actually be the full, hey, let's actually turn this on for everybody, because I kind of want it on all my apps now too. Because now that I know that it's not there, it was like, now I'm not gonna be able to ignore it anymore. Yeah, opt-in and at my level was the right decision, and that is totally fine. Yeah, I realize that it's sometimes people send PRs where they do too much. It's like, we got to dial it back. But I kind of felt like this was a more unique case where I struggle to imagine the only people I see turning it off are people who have already registered up multiple, like they've already got a click handler or something to do something similar, right? Maybe port to the WPF team. It's certainly possible. Like I could see adding something like that in. I'm actually a little bit surprised because I kind of want to go look into the like, and this is the hard part, is I thought it was at the Win32 level that the triple click was implemented. Clearly not, because WPF's not getting it, and I don't think they would explicitly be blocking it. But I thought it was all the way down at the Win32 level, which would mean that, because oftentimes when you see features come in where like WPF and WinForms magically both get features, it's because they did it at the Win32 level, and both of those are built on the same premise of the windowing stuff, and so they just get stuff. But that's kind of rare and usually behavioral only, not like looks or anything. So it was, I don't know, surprising. But yeah, it is something that maybe they would take. It would be cool. Let's see, Hessen, on my end, right-click in a folder only shows an option to add an Avalonia item, which includes Windows, user control, etc., but nothing for a simple C# class. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Rollers, if you get a chance to poke through your extensions, even if you've just got a couple that might do it, I'm happy to check out other extensions if you have suggestions of which ones it might be. Because it's, like I said, I've been doing VS Code on my Mac as well as Writer, and I don't know, it's, I will say, my wife got she got a picture of the, I don't want to, stunned horror is probably the wrong way to say it, but the look on my face when I realized that my new job was going to require me to work on a Mac, I'm like, dang it, I clearly forgot to ask that question during the interviews. It was, now admittedly, they sent me a very nice Mac, so it's not like they sent me a cheap device. Like, this is a very expensive MacBook. And it's very nice and very powerful and has lots of RAM and yada, yada, yada. But still, it's a Mac. And my fingers are bound to Windows, and they just, So yeah, so I've got a personal laptop now running Ubuntu. I've got a Mac for my day job and my Windows desktop for streaming and personal projects. So it's like, I am now suffering through all the things. My fingers are going to have no idea what they're doing anymore. I can never remember the shortcuts. It's got to take me a little bit. I got to rewire myself. So that's fun. Okay. So let's go here. I'm trying to decide the best way to go through and do this, because I can, now that I have the state group, right, I can wire up to changing and changed. And let's actually do this real quick. And we're gonna do these both really quick. Just so I can wire them and console. Do they need any UK devs? Like this, ironically, Izzy, at present I don't Well, hang on. I'm gonna just go look. I don't know, but the team is, well, the company is expanding into the UK, I believe. But I don't know that they are, I don't know if they're hiring engineers over there is the problem. I think most of their engineers have been on this side, mostly for time zones, because like my team is spread all over the US and Canada right now. We'll just take a little gander. Yeah. Well, so if anybody's interested, um, I mean, here's their job listing page. I'll just paste it if anybody's interested. The only thing is it's very much United States, United States, United States, United States, United States. So why do they have, oh, that's, sorry, hang on. So I am specifically part of Ezra. So the Function Health has multiple, we'll say they are the parent company. Ezra is the one that they acquired a little over a year ago. So specifically Ezra is the one that I am with. But it looks like it's sleeping in the day. Yeah, and I think I don't know what the deal is because I feel like I saw some UK folks, but it could have been from one of the other teams. There are so many teams. I'm still trying to get my bearings, like of who reports to who and all of that stuff. Yeah, it seems like right now, because Function is based, I think it's down in Austin, Texas, is their headquarters. But Ezra has always been a fully remote company. And so when they acquired them, all of the Ezra folks are still remote. Like you can see everything here is fully remote. It's just all over the place. So found it. It's this extension. Ooh, sweet. It will hopefully speed up your development. Oh, nice. Well, hang on. I know what I need to add. I kind of want to do it from here. I think. Go find it. I mean, 1.4 million downloads, 4.5 star rating. Can't be that bad. Cool. So there you go, Hessen. Thank you, Rollers. I'm going to make a note to go add this on my other machine. Because I think the rest of my team needs this now. Okay. So let's see here. I will say that is the best part about streaming is you get to learn all kinds of neat tricks like that. Let's see. We're going to go with state changing. And then let's just grab the state so we can report it. Because I just want to look at the timing of these. Hey, Dunce Pilot, you figure out what I'm doing yet? Oh, look at that. You're so helpful. You're so helpful. Let's see. What is your nullability? Let's see. You want a nullable sender, don't you? Yep. Yep. Gookie. Okay, so now I want to fire this sucker up, and I want to see the timing of these state changes. Okay, so we're going to pin you there for a second so you don't go anywhere. Hold still. And then let's go dialogues. And then close this guy down. Interesting. I got not. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I have a feeling. I've got a, yeah, okay. Dang Nabu. The console redirect. Is it trace that debug? That's what it is. WPF apps redirect standard out. Dang rollers, 35 stream street. I gotta applaud that. That is impressive. That is absolutely impressive. I wonder if I've watched myself 35 times. I'm usually here. Okay, turn off the breakpoints. Let's try this again. Okay. Now what we should get here is, okay. Let's go here. Dialogues, and now I expect, let's clear this out. What I expect is to see the timing of this thing and be able to observe the animation. State changed. It's interesting that changed triggered twice. Interesting. Change seems to trigger twice. But it does give me a... now... time of day. I don't want to just observe this because what I expect is that it's going to be around the... because the duration of the transitions is set to, I think, 300-ish. Yeah, 0.3. So I expect to see timing between those events around, again, emphasis on around. It won't be perfect. But I expect to see them somewhat in that vicinity. So that one did it. I'm a little surprised I didn't see the first one fire. And that one changed only fired once. What is going on? Though it is around 300 milliseconds. And ultimately, the goal here would be this output ends up after this output. Surprised it comes in twice. Let's see if we can figure out if I'm responsible for that. One, call stack, show external code. If it is, it will be difficult to say. let's see here. If I do this, I'm just wondering if I get, because I shouldn't hit this one twice. And I'd be surprised, given that this is a property change callback. One. That's it. But yet it did fire twice. Okay, so we do know. I'm just trying to decide how I expose this, right? So I know the state I'm in. I know the state I'm going to. And I could certainly expose something that's like wait for state. Because that could be a thing, right? So I could certainly put something in that is public task wait for state, string state, right? Like you could, and this guy here could pull this back. So let me move this somewhere else. I'm kind of thinking that this is the way. I think is leave myself the API and then leverage the API. All right, so I could do something like this of wait for state. Does the state group... It does have current state. And current state would have a name on it. Does state group have a way to know if it's in the process of changing? Don't know that it does. What is it? Visual state transition, visual transition. I don't know that it actually... And I get... Like, you could go all the way down to the storyboard and check the state of the storyboard. Yuck. Because that is the interesting part, is part of the reason why this is not trivial is because knowing whether something is transitioning very much depends on the storyboard itself. Now, in our case, for this particular class, with our templates, we know that it's basically just a fade in, fade out. Right? Like that is the thing. We know what's going to be happening. I'm also tempted to hide this away a little bit, because I don't know that I want people passing in arbitrary strings. I think I may just give 2 overloads, and then internally I'll have this shared one. We'll do this, right? We'll do something like wait for opened. Right, so we'll create something of that nature. So in order to do this, I need to be able to grab this guy at an arbitrary point. Do I just grab him and hold on to him? I think I do. So we're gonna end up moving this, but we're gonna do something like this. Private visual state group. All right, so we'll do something of that nature. And then wait for state is going to be if visual state group is, we'll just null check it because we can never guarantee that somebody won't change the template out on us, in which case then this just won't work. And actually, I think we'll do something a little more aggressive. If visual state group is null, I think we should throw. Find visual state group. Wait for the transition. Okay, so if we don't find our expected state group, we're just going to throw. So step one, if, let's see, visual state group, current state, name equals state, return a task, complete a task. This feels like something that needs a cancellation token. Because some people may not want to wait forever. And now the question becomes, if you register up, I'm somewhat tempted to make something that I can use. Like I'm tempted to put a visual state monitor or something in here that I can then just pop into and always call this function on. Let's try that. I think that's visual. Okay, so you need to take in a visual state group. Yeah, do the needful. Create an assigned field. It's the wrong naming. That's fine. I'll fix you. Great. And then argument null exception, throw if null. Oh, I can't do that because we don't. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Throw new argument null exception. Sorry, name of state group. Okay. Sorry, for those people confused by that, the reason I can't use the static methods is because we are multi-targeting and 462 does not support it. Sure, we can't do that. Okay, and then we're going to do something like this. Public task for state. Okay. And I think what we're going to do is this guy here is going to be responsible for the timing of this, because this is one of those cases where timing is going to matter a great deal, and I need something that is actually keeping track of this so that I don't lose it. Because if I register for the events after doing a check, the will 462 ever be deprecated? My intent, let's see, .NET Frameworks EOL, is I will support them as long as Microsoft does. Because after a certain point, once Microsoft stops supporting them, they drop off the GitHub runners and maintenance for them just becomes a nightmare. And this is a free open source project. So my commitment is as long as they are still supported. So 462 is going to live until January of next year, at least, and then it will be deprecated. I will probably roll... I'm tempted. I will probably just bump it to 4.7. and actually potentially 4.7.2. It's one of those situations where I struggle to imagine a situation where somebody is forced to be on 4.7, but couldn't rev to 4.7.2, but they can rev their NuGet packages. Like, I get that some people get pinned on old versions, but it's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, but you're able to rev my NuGet package, but not your framework. So it's like, and I'm just shooting for broad compatibility right now. Like, at some point we'll kill off that as well. But for the most part, the issue with a lot of these .NET Framework versions, like for example, .NET Framework 3.5 is out till 2029. And the reason is because the .NET Framework is tied to the end of life of the version of Windows that supports it. So that's usually the fence I have to sit on. I know. And just to be clear, just because January 2027 rolls around, I'm not killing 4.6.2 that day. And it's uncomfortable. Like, I will continue maintaining it right up until it gets painful, which is usually when Microsoft strips it out of the runners. And at that point, I'll probably kill it and bump forward. January 14th. So yeah, if it's not causing me any pain to have it there, I don't mind it. But the moment it causes me any amount of pain, if it's out of support, I'm just going to drop it and roll forward. So that's generally been my go-to stance of, I'm happy to support it if it's not going to cause me any extra grief. But the moment it causes me extra grief, I'm less likely to invest time in doing so. So that's generally my stance. So somewhere around 2027, I suspect they'll drop it from the runners, at which point I will probably change the 6 to a 7 and call it a day. Because at least for what we're doing, it's not going to change anything. Worst case scenario, some of my UI tests start breaking because something's weird in that version, but here's hoping that doesn't happen because that would suck. Let's see, current state changed. Let's see, I just want it to be current state changed. Great. Okay. I wish you would generate with proper nullability. So the question here is, we need to know whether we are in the process of changing when a call here comes in. Because we'll never have, we don't need the null case here because that's handled in the constructor. We know we've gotten a group. So really the question is, are we currently in the state? And if not, are we going to it? And I don't think I can check the visual state group. Like, there's not a is changing. So I think I'm going to end up having to keep track of it myself. Private bool is changing. And then, let's see. Let's invert the order of these. Like changing before changed. So we will do interlocked exchange. Ref is changing. True. I'm wondering if I should, because you can't be changing to a different state. I don't think. What is your problem? I think I can get away with this. Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome in, everybody. Deflux, welcome in. Good to have you. Welcome, everyone. For those people who are new, my name is Kevin. Good to see you. Thank you. You as well. I typically stream once a week. Thursday evenings for me, depending on what time zone you're in. It might be Friday morning. But I do a lot of C# .NET related stuff. I'm a Microsoft MVP. a bunch of open source maintenance. In this particular case, we are currently poking at a library called Material Design in XAML. It is a WPF theming library, yes, a technology that is 2 decades old, and I'm still happily playing in it because I love it. But it brings Google's material design paradigm into desktop Windows applications. Yes, thick clients are still cool, or at least they are to me. So, but we work on a bunch of different .NET related stuff, sometimes some Azure stuff as well. And yeah, good to have you. For everyone who's new as well, I also definitely do not mind questions and rabbit trails. I usually have a thing that I'm planning on working on, but my best streams are always where somebody's either put an interesting question out there or wanted a code review on something. And so I'm always happy to rabbit trail onto things that people are interested in. So that is currently, can I share my console write line? Sure. I mean, that just means it'll be short. It depends though. Like it is, oh, hang on. Oh, Nightbot, shut up. Oh dear heavens. Here, I'm gonna just copy that over here just so everybody can't see it. The epitome of the of how complicated can we make a hello world. Like that is pretty good. I will take it. At some point there, so I have a library, just while we're on the note of very, very bad things that we can do. Where's my C# calamities? What is it? GitHub? What have you done? It has failed to find. Where did it go? I will have to go and find it. I have a library called C# calamities, which is effectively me. How badly can I abuse C# to do horribly, horribly interesting things? There it is. Do not know why it did this, but for anybody who is interested, this is by far one of my favorite console applications I've ever built. For anybody who wants to play along at home, the dirty question is, what does this console output, or what does this application write out? Here's a hint. Nothing, not this at all. What is OSS? Open source software. So it's usually just an acronym for people who work on open source libraries, typically post them for free, but open source doesn't necessarily mean free, though in my library's case it does. Because there have been several people who produce open source but do have some sort of like paid license tier for them as well. But it just means that the source code is available for anybody who wants to look at it. So, yeah. At some point, there's going to be an update. POS is people who take OSS and make a profit from it. Yes. At some point, I do plan on updating this with latest C# stuff, especially some of the cool stuff that is coming in the next version of C#. I was looking at the feature list of what's coming. And there are some really fun features that I plan on using to abuse this even further. And for people who are interested, you can see my links down below. You'll notice the pattern to them is on my YouTube. I do have like interview streams where I've gone through and interviewed different people, one of which is Mads Torgensen, who is the lead designer on the C# team. I have scheduled another one with him later this year. Closer, it's probably going to be like mid-October-ish when it comes out, just because was looking to get it late enough to where the C# version set or the feature set that's going in the next version is going to be more or less solidified, because the new version drops November-ish. And so I was trying to land in that area. Yeah. Let's see. Never dabbed in open source. Thought it had to do with operating system. I just finished my operating systems class. My latest project was a Linux network file server. That's awesome. Like, everybody starts somewhere, and I think most people end up building that. I think mine wasn't a file server, but we rebuilt an HTTP server from scratch when I did it in university, which it's one of those things that everyone builds something kind of that nature, and it's good to understand how to do some of those fundamentals. So he tried to help in one open source project. The author said I made tons of extra work for him and he wasn't happy. Yeah, like, and that is the, as an open source maintainer, knowing what to say no to is always the hard part. Because sometimes, like, it's really great when people come to help, but at the same time, it can also make your life a lot more difficult. Not to say it's always bad. AI slot PR with 15,000 changes. Yeah, like that. I will say, I feel like my open source libraries have not, like, I've definitely gotten some AI slop from people, but I don't feel like it has been that much. And I think part of it was, there used to be an event that, and it's still happening, called Hacktoberfest, that they would put on every October. It was sponsored by DigitalOcean. They would often give out t-shirts and whatnot for people who opened up enough PRs. But I had done that for many, many years with my libraries, and I'd kind of put enough checks and balances in place to kind of mitigate slop, because I was getting human slop before AI slop was a thing. And so, because you put a t-shirt on the line, and the people who will come out and submit all kinds of garbage PRs was insane. And so I kind of had enough checks in place to kind of filter that stuff down. And so it worked out. Like, then the AI stuff hit, and it was like, not a big deal. I already got my checks in place. Even if it's AI generated, as long as all of my checks confirm it's not slop, it's probably not that bad. So I don't feel like I've been hammered nearly as much as some library authors have. Yeah. But yes, I will say, for anybody who wants to do it, like, helping out with an open source project is awesome. One thing that has been, I guess, a small claim to fame, like on this material design library, I've occasionally, when people are helping out, especially somebody who's doing a significant amount of work, I'll actually promote them to be a maintainer within the library, which gives them added permissions and that kind of thing. And there was one person who actually, they were a maintainer on the library for, I think, a year and a half, and they actually were able to leverage it on their resume to land their current role, which I was like, that is awesome. Like, it was cool seeing somebody go from, scared to help out with open source to, hey, it's on my resume and this is going to be something that helps me land the job. So that part I thought was pretty slick. So I'll keep that. Let's see. How adventurous do I want to get? I'm interlocked. I'm kind of tempted to do something really scary here. Oh, this doesn't have a... Oh, it does. Okay, we're fine. E dot... New state name, then go to null. I landed my current role by telling them I use Claude to fold my posts. I mean, that kind of goes along with the meme that I think everybody's been putting out of, I don't want AI to, take away my art and my creativity. I wanted to do my dishes and my laundry, right? Like that's the AI dream right there, is please do the legitimately boring stuff, not the stuff that I still find fun. If I could just have 60-hour days, I could have 5 minutes to use some open source. Yes, that sounds about right, Izzy. The moment you figure out how to get a 60-hour day, you are coming back and sharing that knowledge with me, because I would absolutely take it. Okay, so for anybody confused about what we've done here, is I'm only using the interlocked here as a way of being able to check and know. This looks like a concurrency nightmare. Oh, it's about to be a concurrency nightmare, a complete concurrency nightmare. So the bug in question, and I can actually just show it. So we've got this fancy control that shows dialogues. And the problem is when we show these dialogues, there's about a 300 millisecond delay in the animations when they're coming up and down. And the bug from the poster was when the dialogue is animating in or animating out, wanting to hold on actually returning a value until that animation is complete, because ultimately they need to do something in their app once a dialogue is done, and so they want that extra thing in there. And right now they're hacking around it with where to go? They're hacking around it by throwing in delay calls to just try to time things right. It sounds like the most WPF bug ever. Yes, you are not wrong. So yeah, so they're just trying to time it and going, oh, well, the animation should be done in 300 milliseconds. It's like, yeah, but the only reason they're doing it is because the library doesn't give them any mechanism for either A, knowing about this, or B, controlling it. All right, so I don't know that I'm going to change the behavior of the show method as they ask, but what I can do is I can provide an API where they can go, something like DialogHost, wait for closed or something of that nature. Like I can provide an API so that they know when it's done animating, and then they can carry on their way. So, because I don't know that I want to necessarily break everybody who currently is leveraging the DialogHost. And the DialogHost currently does return a task. So that show method, and this is potentially one of the best / worst APIs that we have in this entire library. It is the source of so many bugs, because people want like the WinForms message box show, but in this case, task represents the showing of the dialogue. So when you go through and call show, this task doesn't complete until the dialogue closes. But the closing doesn't account for the animation. It also doesn't count for the showing animation, but the showing is usually not a problem, because most of the time the dialogue can't close until it's been shown. So it's typically only on the back end that people have issues. But this show task will immediately return as soon as the dialogue closes. And so that gets it. It's one of those. We didn't implement the same API as MessageBox Show, which is just a static call that would hang the WPF UI. But instead, we've done this, and it's caused confusion in a lot of cases. It is the original author of this library, when I kind of took over as maintenance, he actually highlighted this as potentially one of the most confusing APIs that is going on. So in this case, the bug itself is only that, and this particular bug that was opened is one of several, but there's been a number of times where people want to show a dialogue, and then they want to do something after the dialogue closes, but they need the animation to finish. Like the thing that they may want to do is touching some other UI element, and so they don't want to start doing that until the animation of the dialogue closing goes away. I don't know how well that's coming through on stream because it's only 300 milliseconds. And so there is a callback that we offer, but the callback doesn't wait for the animation either. And that's the other problem with it, is right now when the dialogue is shown, this close handler gets invoked, but it gets invoked immediately as the dialogue starts closing and not when the duration has finished, which is why I want to give an API where people can say, okay, wait for this particular visual state. Because I think there's going to be people in both cases where some people they're like, I don't care, I'm making a web call, right? Like I just need to persist some data because the user clicked the login button or something. Great, fine, whatever, right? That's perfectly legitimate. But there will be other people who want to do like UI stuff after the dialogue closes, where they're like, yeah, I'd kind of like, because our DialogHost, it has that kind of faded overlay over the top of everything. And so it's like, if you're messing with UI stuff, I can certainly understand why you would want that to be done animating before you move on to whatever thing you're going to do next, right? Somebody may want to kick off their own animations, and it's like, yeah, your animations look stupid if mine are running at the same time, which is why I think the solution is animation state with an awaitable. Yeah, and we have a session object that kind of represents that sort of thing. It doesn't currently encompass the callbacks, but it certainly could, and that's why I think this session here is probably the thing where I can tack on the extra bits for being able to say, hey, is this thing animating or otherwise? And then to actually deal with the animation, that's where we get into the chaotic mess that is what I'm building, because dear heavens, of letting this thing go. So just as a hacked solution to prove that we can do it, you have to actually grab the visual state group for the nested element and then wire up to its changing events. But I didn't want to do all of that just inside of my DialogHost. So this class is currently nested. I'm going to yank it out and put it somewhere else. But I have a couple controls that I think I'm going to want something similar for. So I think I'm going to pull this sucker away and then yank it out. Yeah. So I think you're on the right track. Yeah, I think so too. It's one of those, I'm kind of just hacking on this to see if I can find an API that I like, and then I'll see how much I hate it. This is actually probably a beautiful example of an open source project where I don't know that the person who opened the bug is wrong, but I don't know that, like, one of the other maintainers already took one run at this and was like, yeah, I hate my solution, I'm closing this PR. It's like, oh, great, I didn't even get to review it. And he already self-rejected and went, I hate this. But I think if I can build something like this in here, this will probably make it. Can the animation object itself be awaited? No. And so this visual state group is the closest thing to that animation object that it has. But I'm sort of wanting to wrap this up in some sort of like task completion source. That way I can use the events here to trigger the task completion source and then toggle it into an appropriate state when this is done. But I'm kind of wondering if what I actually want to capture here is not the state that I'm changing to, but the state that I'm in. Because I do know, so let's go here. Private string. Like this is already now going to cause me problems having two of these in here. Is I already know which one. Yeah, so the API you've got here is an event to work with, correct? Yeah, so the visual state group basically just tells me I can get the current state and I get an event when it's changing, and ironically, I get two calls for changed, just from empirical testing of looking at it, of when going through the dialogues, for some reason, I get called twice on the changed. No explanation as to why. Yeah, and so like part of me is okay. So let's just continue down this lovely path that we're going. So current state name, because the states inside of a group, the names of the states inside of a group all have to be distinct, so I'm not worried about any collisions. But I'm just trying to think here of, there could be two calls to wait for state, and they each need to return their own distinct. That's why I'm not sure. Grumble. This is kind of why I want to. Let's see, TCS. All right, something like this. Return TC. The problem is this I want it atomic so that I know when I have reached the state. Yeah, I've dealt with something similar. The crux of the issue is you don't have the synchronization context for the animation. Correct. And so the other kind of dirty thing that I can get away with is if I'm willing to go all the way to the UI dispatcher, I know that my inside a WPF, I know that my animations can only occur on the UI thread. So I could dodge some of this threading mischief by just dispatching myself back to the UI thread, knowing that I've effectively now forced single-threaded context. Because I know if I do this check inside of the UI thread, it cannot change on me mid-run, because all of the animation happens on the UI thread. So I could cheat in that regard. I don't like that as much, but that is sitting in the back of my mind as technically an option available to me of being able to grab it. What's mutating that the threads would be fighting over? So in this case, the state name is really what I care most about. And for the purposes of this dialog host, there are only two states, opened and closed. Those are the only ones. And so really what I'm after is the state name of the string, because my end goal down here is to have something like private visual state monitor. And again, just kind of hacking this for the moment until we get this going. But something like visual state monitor gets new state group. It's going to go something like that. It's going to do the needful. And then down here, in a wait for open, my intent is to then just have this method be a very simplistic visual state monitor, wait for state, open state. Right, and then I don't know if I like the no coalescing there, but something of that nature is kind of what I'm anticipating. Right, and then a similar thing for closed, I think. Because I now have this closed state name. And so there might be an argument that I should expose the state monitor out, but... And so the real question is, the thing being mutated under the hood is this current state object. And I guess that's what we could do. I don't need to maintain the strings. I could maintain the state objects. I don't know if that changes my view on this at all. Because in the wait for state, what I really want to know is if I come in, if I'm in the current state, I can just return. So functionally, if we do this the naive way, right? If current state equals state, return task completion, because we're already done. No point in dealing with anything extra. And honestly, there might be an argument for this, making this a value task, because that's probably more often than not going to be the right situation. And obviously this doesn't completely work. And then if not, I need a task completion source of anything, doesn't really matter, TCS. But then I need to know when I effectively need to be able to keep a list of these suckers around, because these need to be keyed on the state string being passed in to then return the task back. Is that the right object to use? Probably. Probably. Because I guess I don't actually care about changing as much as changed. Because there's never a situation where... Because it's really only when changed to the state do I actually need to do anything with it. Guess then the only question is, how do I keep track of these task completion sources? And do I key them on the string or otherwise? Because, yuck. Just, Julio goes quiet. It means he has rewritten your entire app into a single Lambda expression, likely using a numerator. No, and frankly, I am open to suggestions. Like, that's the whole reason why I stream this, is because quite often people come back with very good ideas. I'm thinking about this. Yeah, it was kind of funny. So I don't know that I care about this. I do wonder if I can just give myself... Oh. Let's see. I don't understand why concurrency would be such an issue here. So the only reason why this is kind of giving me a bit of pause, because you're right. Like, if we take the task completion source and pull this out, like, this would do the thing. The only thing that I'm concerned with is these APIs. I don't control who's going to call them and how many times, and so I'm imagining a situation where, and it's potentially unlikely, but somebody has a DialogHost instance and they call both of these one right after the other, before one is completed, right? And so I have two calls to wait for state, both of them passing in different strings. And so I can't maintain a single task completion source because I actually need two different ones, because the point at which it's going to transition to opened and the point at which it's going to transition to closed is going to be different, right? So void bad user, right? Somebody does something equivalent to this, right? They've got a DialogHost and something like wait for opened. All right, so var t1, var t2, right, and then something like await task when all or something. Now, that's dumb and you shouldn't do that, but just need to register the event handler to set the TCS and deregister itself. Yeah. Because so just to be clear, right? If we're talking, because I think what you're suggesting is something akin to this, where, and I think we only care about changed, right? And in this case, what we do is we do sender e, right, something of this nature, if e dot new state dot name equals state, right? Capture the variable, TCS, move you up, right? TCS set result. It doesn't really matter. We aren't using it, but we can do, state. Right? Something of that nature, I assume. Because both tasks can certainly exist. My only fear with doing something of this nature is that, and then we probably break it out to self-unregister or similar, is if I'm already in the current state, I want the early exit. And if somewhere between this check and this call, like for example, if the state changes while I'm right here, I have a problem. And that's the only thing that's giving me a bit of pause is I almost end up having to like lock and recheck. Yeah, deregister the Lambda, yes, and pull it out as a self-unregistering event handler, which wouldn't be terrible. Like, and that's the one thing which is why I started down the interlock case, because I'm like, oh, the simple solution is you just do it atomically on your check, which is why I was thinking of registering once. That way it's already registered. I don't have to conditionally register. Yeah. This is, again, I'm still holding that thought in the back of my head that if I throw it out to the UI thread, I can dodge all of these problems because then I'm single threaded and the problem just goes away. Yeah, capture the current state as soon as the method is called. Oh, I see. Down here. Because we could grab this guy here. Because yeah, we could certainly grab it, and because I think what you're proposing is this guy here, of grab that immediately. That single-threaded bachelor lifestyle. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, captured into a variable. Oh, I see. something of that nature, right? Because then I don't think that dodges my potential race condition though. Because this is the thing that, because this guy here is still what could change. Oh, and then check it again right before. Oh, I see. So register, and then down here, I guess we pull it back, right? Because we got to recheck from the source. So something akin to this, and then obviously do the unregistration down here as well to make sure. Yeah. Guess that works. It's one of those, I feel like I'm missing an elegant solution somewhere. Because I always like the double check and lock pattern gets used a lot, and I always hate it, and I feel dirty, and there's sometimes it's just that's the easiest solution. And how do you test this? So that's the beautiful part about this, JC. We realistically, I don't know that we can. So, well, let me rephrase. I can test the successful case. I can't test the race conditions because I can set something up like this and try to put it into a bad case, and my XAML test library will give me the full UI context that I can play in and go through it and deal with it. Let's break this guy out because this is event handler, visual state. Actually, just give me the delegate. Give me the delegate. You, come here. Bring ding. Let's see. Event handler. Call it. I don't know. State changed. Something. And then we'll come down here and we will do visual state group. State changed. Plus equals state changed. Then we'll come in here and we will go with state changed, no, I didn't separate you. You be there. You be there. And shut up. There we go. And then something like this ends up going here. No, I want to do this maneuver because if this happens, we actually want to come in here and do something like that. Yeah. Pull that back. Grab it there. It's not pretty. Yeah, and that's part of why this is another situation where I'm like, maybe I do this for now and just not expose this. Because the beautiful part about an open source maintainer is until you make it public, you're free to change it as much as you want. So we can get rid of all this stuff here. You're not ugly. You're pretty ugly. So let's pull this apart here real quick, and let's break this into something real for the moment. Visual State Monitor. Let's go here. Let's go here. I think I put it here for now. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn. I don't know what I like and I don't know what I don't like. There. And then, nope. Stop it. Stop helping me. Stop it. There you go. Okay. Let's see. You were also planning on adding a cancellation token too. Oh, yes. Thank you. What am I looking at here? T-sharp. Ooh. .NET Core. Oh, neat. I'm assuming based on the name that this is yours. Yo-yo? Cool. You earned yourself a star. That looks pretty slick. You can see me needing this for something too. I've got a couple Twitch integrations already. That kind of async call waiting for a value change is a common source of deadlocks. Amen. Amen. And so let's go in here. Cancellation token. Oy vey. There we go. I can't spell. I can't spell. I was telling people earlier, I recently got a new job and I'm still doing .NET stuff, but it is on a Mac. And so my muscle memory with my fingers is completely broken. I cannot keep myself straight. I think we're going to just force that there. Let's see. Because you should then be complaining without it. Goes there. I'm kind of tempted to throw in the null case instead. Because in the event that this thing is null, it means that we weren't able to actually... thank you for this. I love it, Deflux. I will say there is something elegant when you have nice code going. Okay, so let's actually clean this up into something that looks slightly realish. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. We're gonna put this in, and we're gonna put that in, and that goes there, that goes there. We are going to add in another template part because we're gonna need, if we're gonna rely on the root element existing in our apply template, we should declare it on our manifest so that anybody who retemplates us knows that it is required-ish. We will make it optional though, because if somebody doesn't implement it, it only matters because this guy here is just wanting a framework element. Yeah, so we don't care what it is. Let's rename this here to be public const string root content part name. We'll just do something like that, I think. He's very proud of my work as my senior mentor. That's actually really great that you actually have a mentor in that kind of situation, though. Like, I will say, I feel like I have been incredibly blessed in my career I got a mentor, was it a year into my very first job, which was 2 decades ago. And we still get together and talk and discuss stuff. Like, and again, I think I was incredibly fortunate to land something of that nature. I don't think that is common, but for people who can find one, especially somebody who can meet with you on a regular basis and like bounce ideas off of, discuss code and otherwise, right? Like when we started off, it was a lot more, we'll say, micro level stuff of, hey, here's how code works, here's how libraries work, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, right? And then over the years, it kind of grew to more macro level stuff of, here's what you should be thinking about for your career, here's where things should be going. Like, I have been incredibly blessed to have him. Like, I would say, I think there's two people I would point to who have been mentors. One for only about a dozen years, and then my first one, which is, like I said, close to 2 decades. But they are both people that when I was looking to switch jobs, like, I was not going to do it without first discussing it with both of them, because their opinion on such things was completely invaluable. Okay, so now we want let's see, dialog. What did I call that thing? Didn't I call it root something or another? Root content part name. There we go. And then we're not gonna make it required as framework element. Actually, let's do this. We'll pattern match our way to victory. Stop it. Hold on. That's close. Close enough. We'll keep it for now. And then so we need to grab this. And we're gonna go here. Yo, gotta hit the sack. Best of luck with the bug fix. Nice to meet you. Although I think I have before, since I was already following. Well, it was good to meet you. I appreciate the raid and dropping in. I assume, what were you streaming before you came in? I probably made you raid him like 3 years ago. I was going to say, do you also stream like .NET Dev stuff, or were you doing something different? I'm going to grab this guy here. Developing on the library. Oh, cool. Well, you got yourself one more follower as well. I'll count that in. But yeah, no, I appreciate you dropping in. And like I said, I will definitely keep an eye out on the library, because I've got a few things with Twitch that I would love to do, especially like default developer mentality is I can definitely build that. So, but I'm always happy to poach what other people have gone through and done. So cool. But yeah, get some sleep. Thank you for coming in. Let's see, we're gonna go here. I kind of want to just do count greater than 0. Make sure I've got them, and that gets me out of there. Actually, we can probably list pattern match. Do I care? I'm just trying to decide if I care do I seek them all? No. If somebody's going to do this, they're going to land on this. So we're going to just list pattern match into visual state group, comma dot, let that go there. Don't need that. That clears that up. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. So that clears those up. That gets rid of those. And I think what we're going to do here is, I don't know that I want to just task completion source. I think I want to throw in this case. Because this should... that's the wrong message, but it'll... It'll suffice for the moment. Let's see. I'm able to locate visuals states for dialog host. Cannot wait for state transitions. Because if somebody retemplates, that's fine. But if they want to use these methods, they're going to have to do it. Hey, yeah, Ostal, I think. Working on a bug fix for the material design in XAML library. It's specifically this issue here, if anybody cares to follow along. The short version of it is on the DialogHost. And this is just the most recent bug. This has kind of been a repeat request that has come up several times over the years of people wanting to interact with the dialogue, but right now the events that we have on it, they fire immediately when the dialogue starts to close rather than when its animation finishes, which is fine if you're doing data related stuff, less fine if you want to do like your own animations once the dialogue is done. So for example, this is the one from the bug where I don't know how well it comes through on stream, but there's the kind of the animation of the dialogue coming in as well as the overlay being put over the top of everything. And they're all timed to around 300 milliseconds. And so right now, the only availability that people have is immediately act when the dialogue is canceled, not when that animation finishes. And so if you're trying to do your own UI stuff after a dialogue closes, I don't think I'm going to fix it the way the poster asked for, which was effectively, hey, it'd be great if, you know, the task that I get from show didn't complete until the animation was done. That's fine, but depending on what people are doing, that's a fairly big breaking change. But what I can do instead is I can give an API like this wait for opened, wait for closed, that people can use so that they know when that animation has fully completed. So, and I'm trying to decide if maybe I should put something else in the name of this rather than just wait for open animation, wait for closed. I don't know. Naming's hard. Very cool. Yeah, so that's currently what we're playing with. And part of right now is, well, we're at the exploratory phase, I would call it, where I'm just trying to see if I can find an API I like. Because you can always make something work if you beat on it hard enough. The question is, especially when building libraries, is do you like it? Is this an API I want to maintain? Because once I ship it, I'm kind of stuck. And that's never fun. Let's see. Okay. Kind of want to do this because I kind of want to demonstrate the wait for opening animation completion. Yeah, I almost wonder if completion is not needed in that though. Wait for opening animations. I don't want to distract you much. Oh no, by all means, don't worry about distracting. My best streams are when people have questions or similar. So, like I have the thing that I'm working on, but I absolutely love questions, rabbit trails. People go, "Hey, what about this?" Love it. So don't you worry about that at all. This guy here is what? Do I not have the dialogue itself? What is the meaning of life? Oh, but I have the session. And the session should have it. Oh, but the session doesn't expose it. Why does the session not expose its own DialogHost owner? That seems dumb. I have it. Why not expose it? I do not understand why past Kevin did this. This feels wrong. Feels wrong. Seems like I do want to give that. And I realized that previously it was probably because the only way to get it is if you had it. If you're not too busy. So it's like we're that duck devs put on their desk and talk to when they're trying to debug an issue. The yellow one, the red one, or the gold one. I have 3. And yes, you are 100% right. The thing is these ducks don't usually offer questions, ideas, or useful feedback. They just kind of sit there. Now, it makes them very good listeners. They're exceptionally good ones. Yeah, the sentient ones are definitely better for feedback. I have some former colleagues that was a running joke with us a lot. Is sometimes they just come and say, "Have a good one, JC." They'd come and say, "Hey, I just need a duck," which was effectively the code for I don't need you to actually do anything but listen and maybe talk a little bit, but functionally I just need to like get this out, right? Which works totally fine. Though the big advantage of the rubber duck is that they won't judge you. They won't think less of you no matter how stupid your mistake is. It's wonderful. And I do absolutely talk to them. I just need a duck. Yeah, it is. As long as the person you're talking to understands the context of what that sentence means, you're golden. It's a little less useful in all situations. We have the best DI model, duck intelligence. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so if I have this, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. That is a good point. For people who haven't seen it, there is a wonderful, for people who don't have a physical rubber duck and would like the experience of talking to a duck without needing to burn like AI tokens. This wonderful website is absolutely gold, and you can talk to a duck. How should I fix concurrency? No, I just want it fixed, right? And I believe this is open source because I vaguely recall finding it at one point. This is as stupid of a implementation as you can imagine. There is an array with a bunch of kind of generalized responses, and each time you hit enter, it just sends one. Like, imagine the simplest possible implementation you can imagine. There you go. And it costs no AI tokens, and you can just kind of like spell out all your thoughts. Let's see. Early DI models be like that. Yeah. 100%. Let's see. We're gonna do closed, and I want to go event args session DialogHost. Wait for closed. And then we will do this, and then we'll do async void because we're an event handler. No, you cannot become a task if you're an event handler. Bad. I'm wondering if I should set a default value on this. Should I? How likely is it that people are going to hang themselves if I do that? I don't know. It certainly makes my life easier being able to just do this. It's a cleaner API. Somebody could hang themselves with it. Don't like that either. And actually, hang on. Before we get too carried away, I want to do one more thing. Date, time, now, time of day, something of that nature. Just so I can, because it's only 300 milliseconds. It's slow enough I can see it, but it's nice having it just written out in front of me. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so we need my output window so that I can see it, and we're gonna clear it, and we're gonna go whoop, and we're gonna go tweet, and then when we go cancel, unable to locate visual states for the dialog host. Cannot wait for session. Oh, well that's no bueno. Okay, I botched my transition here. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yaostal? I'm probably butchering that name. Okay, let's see. What did we do wrong here? So that should be fine. That should be fine. Oh, I do wonder if it's that as the problem. Let's just grab it here and we'll find out. We'll know real quick. We will know very, very quickly. I might need to go pull the docs for that though real quick, but we'll see. So, oh, nope, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. The code is not the problem here. The problem is that I declared the part name to be part dialog host root, which is totally fine, except for I then did not go and update it in the actual templates that I'm using, so it doesn't work. Because it cannot find the thing because it is no longer prefixed with part. And for anyone confused, the full caps part here with the underscore, this is kind of just a well-known WPF-ism where things that are required members for a template are prefixed that way so that people can easily separate elements that are part of a template that are required if you were to retemplate versus elements that are optional that only have a name because they're being targeted by, you know, an animation or similar. Okay, rinse, repeat, try again. Because with our built-in templates, we should never hit the else case. Right? The only time somebody hits the else case, what is this? Dialog host root. Something is still targeting dialog host root. Where is it? It's probably in here. Dialog host root. Where are you? Look at that. Gotcha. Found him. Okay. Rinse, repeat, try again. What would I have broken? Oh, the placement of the pop-up? That would have been bad. I hope we have a test that would have caught that, but I don't know for a fact. Okay, so now we're going to go back here. We're going to go to the outputs, clear it, come back here, and pass view, and... Oh! That right? Let's see, 8 to 10, that's about 300-ish milliseconds. It's working. It's working. I will take it. Okay. Okay, let's brief revisit of what we've done. What mess have we made? So we did this. We should probably make the same change in the, because we've got material design 2 and material design 3. I should make the similar change in the demo. I put this guy in. Okay, one thing that I'm noticing, we can seal this class. No point not to. Let's see, anything else that makes sense? feels ugly. Is there any other timing errors? I don't know that there can be. Pull it out, check early exit if we're already there. Build it up. Oh, we are not feeding the cancellation token through. Okay, so that is a problem. I think the nope. So cancellation token register. Why do I feel like there was an easier way? I thought there was an easier way to link these together. Am I blanking on this? TCS. Was it not? Oh, I think we actually want this. Otherwise, we run the risk of timing issues. Because we don't know the exact timing invocation of this callback, so it could be at any point. Am I missing anything in here? Should probably have some tests around this. Just to verify everything goes as expected. Okay, that seems fine. Let's see here. Template changed. We switched the visual transitions to use the statics so that all of those stay in sync. We fixed the element name binding. Did this one here. The other one doesn't have an element name binding because it's embedded and it's just an element inside of a grid. Great. See, DialogHost gets a few public API changes with some new constants. Update the attribute for where the template part needs to be. New private member. Changed here. Oh, white space. It moved the curly brace moved down a line. Okay, great, fine. Realize this is probably tiny for people. Let's make it big. There we go. Let's see. So down here in this, we pull it out. We will only set the visual state monitor if we find something. If somebody retemplates, they have to. Their first group needs to be the state group in question. And actually, I'm wondering, do we want to be a little more picky about what? I think we should be a little more picky about validating the state group that comes in. And, oh, state group dot state, see, states dot count 2. Let's see, state group states Visual state group. Actually, I don't know that we need to validate on the count. All I care about is that they have an opened and a closed. If somebody wants to extend that, that's fine. Let's see, x.name. I think we're going to just break this down here because this is going to be easier. Oh, I can't do it on the grumble. Fine, whatever. It's going to be a small amount of our state names. If, let's see, state names contains open state name and closed state name, then we'll use it. So if you roll your own template and you want to use these methods, you must have an open state and a closed state. Otherwise, these methods no work. Okay. That gets me to there at least. I'm not sure. The hard part is I'm tempted to throw or log errors or something if these things don't exist. But at the same time, it's only a problem if you want to use these methods. If you expect these methods to work, you kind of have to have the things. So I'm kind of okay with that. Let's see here. That's fine. Let's see, dialog session. We exposed the dialog host out of it. That's fine. I think I don't have any objection there. Let's see, dialog host. Let's see, we come in here. That's the white space. Our validation there exists. I think that's okay. I'm gonna go here. Let's go and fix the other demo app in the same way. So I think we can probably literally copy and paste this. Because I think this portion is identical between the two. That's not the dialogues page, that's the fields page. This has closing and closed. Hold on, what's going on here? There we go. I think that's good enough. I'm going to open a draft PR, at least for this, I think. So let's see. And what was my issue number? 4017. Let's see. Commit and push and make a PR. Yeah. Do the needful. Do the needful. Okay, so we're going to submit as draft. We're waiting for DialogHost animations. Outstanding questions. 1. Are the four methods named properly? 2. Let's just do outstanding items. Tests. The possible test race conditions reliably, but happy path should be there. I have gone overboard in the validation. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know that I did too much. Should the relation token in the wait for methods be required rather than optional? Okay, and then I would like to grab Nikolai, and I would like to grab Corvin's and see what they think. We're going to go with potential fix for pound 4017. Something of that nature. Send it. Just make sure it looks right. Copilot Lite? Huh. I did not know that they even added this. That's cool. No, thank you, Copilot. I appreciate you offering to review. No, I've got other things. I will spend your tokens on a different purpose. Okay, so we'll let that one sit for the moment just to see if that's a potential thing, and then go from there. I think that was productive. Considering I've been gone for a month, that worked out well. Okay, I don't know what time zone most of you are in, but I am Pacific time in the US, and it is, oh boy, it is past midnight, and my Mountain Dew is empty. We got a raid out. Deflux, if you have any recommendations, feel free to pitch them my way. My typical problem is that there are very few. All of the streamers I follow are typically not up at this hour. This is the problem when you are targeting an English-speaking developer audience, and then you stream at an hour when no one is around. Yeah, because none of the ones that I follow are actually up. Let's see. What recommendations do you have to learn C#? Let's see here. So, Imam, there is one here. So one I can share with you right here. I just kicked my green screen curtain. So Essential C#. Yeah, sure, fine. Now, admittedly, I am biased, and the reason I am biased is you'll note something. It has my name on it, so you know, I'm a little picky there. But so, and I will say who this is great for is, it is good for people who are coming with very little knowledge who want to learn it. For people who have experience, it can come across very slow because the chapters in this book very much build on each other, and they kind of start from the assumption of we're not going to use anything that we haven't taught you about. And so they just keep stacking on each other. For people who come with a lot of experience, don't just read it chapter 1 starting through. Like, it will bore you out of your mind. Right? So there are, did we add, well, that's just the straight search. It's kind of unfortunate. The print copy, mine's out of reach, actually has little tabs on the side so that if it's like, hey, I just want to see the new stuff, show me the new stuff, it's easier to do. I don't know that we ever actually implemented it inside of here. but there are plenty of things in here. So, and to be clear, if you want a print copy, go for it. The print copy is not updated with latest C# stuff on it. So just be aware of that. It does cap at C# 12, so some of the newer syntax is not covered in the print copy. The website, though, we have the ability to keep updating it, so we just push content there. So not telling you to discourage it. Some people like physical paper and books, and that's fine. Just be aware that the website will have much more up-to-date content than what you will find on the website. C# in the cards. Let me check that. I have not seen this one. I have not seen this one, but it does not. Oh, this is Fritz. Is this Fritz's stuff? Oh, okay. I don't know this site, but I do know Jeffrey Fritz. Yes, Jeffrey Fritz's stuff is good. Like, so he used to be a Microsoft evangelist. I think he went to JetBrains a month ago. Yeah. So, but he is great guy, great streamer. His content you can rely on. The other streamer that I would plug for C# stuff is let me grab his stuff. Let's see, is Tim Corey. He has amazing stuff. Why is it not launching properly? There. So here is, I use a JetBrains IDE. Yeah, if you're in Writer is great. Frankly, I have been using JetBrains' IDE on my Mac consistently because it's on a Mac. My only choices are Writer or VS Code. Those are the only two reasonable options available. So, but Tim Corey is another great one. He has paid courses, but he also he puts out a lot of free videos on YouTube as well. So if you want to check him out and effectively kind of try his content before deciding if you want to buy a course to see what it's like, you can absolutely go. Yeah, a lot recommend Tim Corey. 100%. Yes. I'm on a Mac using Writer. Yeah, and that I may end up putting together something on Writer. We'll see. I frankly, I'm learning it now myself because it is. I feel like the VS Code experience on a Mac doing .NET development it feels lacking to me. But I do know several engineers that's their daily driver and they're very effective with it. And so it might just be a skill issue on my part. But Writer feels a lot closer to my Visual Studio, which makes me feel more at home, which makes me happier. So teach his own. I don't know that I would ever drop my Visual Studio for Writer on Windows because there's enough stuff that, again, it may just be a skill issue on my part where I don't feel as productive on it yet. Maybe that'll switch as I use it more. But I am still diving into it, and I keep finding things where I'm like, oh, how do I reconfigure this? How do I change this? And sometimes it's easy, and sometimes I'm pulling my hair out trying to figure out how to do stuff. So there is some of those, but yes. So I would absolutely recommend all three of those. So anything from Jeffrey Fritz, anything from Tim Corey, the Essential C#, those will probably be more than enough to get you going. The other thing that I usually tell people is come up with an idea of something that you want to build. And oftentimes, if you know what you want to build, figure out what do I need to know to start and then focus on learning that. My experience has been when people are building something that they want, even if it's a simple app, like, hey, I just want something to manage my grocery list or whatever it's going to be, right? If you start there, people feel a little more invested in the learning process. And so it often helps get things going. So there's a guy I was mentoring that was exactly what I told him to do, because he's like, I want to learn how to be an engineer. He's like, I don't think I'm ever changing careers, but I want I want to learn this and I want to do it well. It's like, great, come up with something that you want. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm going to help you scope it down. Don't make it big. Don't like, you're not going to go build a AAA game as your first app. No, make it something small, tiny, bite-sized, so it doesn't feel like it's this huge elephant of a thing. But get something built, right? Because C# does so much, right? You can build mobile apps, desktop apps, web apps. You can build little console things. You can build libraries. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. And so figuring out what you want to build and then going off from there to say, hey, let me, build this, right? Because it's hard to tell people all the technology that you should know. Like, there's kind of some, I don't know if it ever got launched. There was this is another one. I think it's probably, this one might be a little dated, and I don't think it ever got updated. But there was, Bill Wagner was on a kick at one point trying to figure out what is kind of the minimal amount of C# that is kind of like that everyday amount of syntax that people use consistently. Like, you don't need to know all of it, but what's the kind of core common fundamentals? And that's kind of what Bill Wagner was going for. Just be aware, this is a few years old. It's not going to have stuff in the last couple of years, but that idea, I think, is still very prevalent. And again, even if somebody's got knowledge from a couple of years back, maybe you're missing out on some features, but Writer will help a lot of, like, it'll prompt you to say, hey, check out this new syntax for doing it. And if it prompts you, great, go learn about that syntax and see how things go. Let's see here. Let's see. Cool. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Like I've told plenty of people when they jump onto my stream, like, I enjoy questions and feedback and that kind of thing, and I absolutely do not mind rabbit trailing. Sorry, I'm checking out this stream that you linked in, Deflux. Seems reasonable. Okay, well, you know what? I oftentimes don't rate out, but you know what? I think tonight we're going to try something fun. So with that, tell everybody happy coding. See y'all next time, and let's see if I can remember how to. Dang nabbit, I'm using Mac keystrokes again. And we'll see how we go. Happy coding. And